No sé si hay en el auditorio alguien que quiera hacer alguna pregunta.
Buenos días. A mí me salta la pregunta de si estamos hablando del compromiso, de los valores de la universidad. Estamos hablando de una responsabilidad social universitaria, ¿no? En definitiva. ¿Y cómo podemos llegar a tener unos parámetros para evaluar efectivamente esta responsabilidad de la universidad con la sociedad, este compromiso ético, esta participación, este liderazgo? O sea, ¿cómo se puede llegar a tener unos índices para saber si una universidad en verdad está cumpliendo con este compromiso social? En las organizaciones tenemos la responsabilidad social corporativa y tenemos unos parámetros formulados por diferentes organizaciones, pero en universidad no podemos meterla en el mismo saco porque sabemos que es una institución que tiene su propia dinámica y sus propias dimensiones y jamás podríamos ponerlos en el mismo lugar, ¿no? Esa es mi pregunta.
No sé quién va a responder.
Thank you very much. If I understand the question correctly, is how do we measure social commitment and values as far as the university is concerned? It is a good question and also a very difficult one. We have been grappling with these questions, but there is a way out if we think about the university as something which is not cast in stone. The difficulty is that when we talk about the university, we think that the university has got only one framework. And that is the framework that's always being sold to us by our governments or other people and say, this is what the university looks like. If we begin to agree that there are different forms of universities and different ways of measuring universities, then we begin to see some of the issues and solve some of the problems. Let me take the example of our university. When we talk about our university in providing healthcare, for example, the question that the researchers will normally ask, how much money will I be able to accrue into the university? How much grants are able to bring into the university? Because this will be a kind of a performance measures that presidents, vice rectors, vice chancellors will look at. If you can bring, say, 30 million to the university, you'll probably be promoted to a professor in a very quick time. Right? But there is not just one solution to it. We have inverted the answers in our university by saying that if you do research that could save 30,000 lives, then we will recognize you as equivalent to maybe 30 million. So beginning to change the ROI or the return on investment will be a way to change the mindset. Okay? I always give this example to my colleagues in seminars like this. Typhoid is a big problem in Asia. At one time, we need to take 5 days to diagnose typhoid and then to treat it. Yeah? But in the discussion we had when we talk about transforming higher education for a sustainable tomorrow, the question we ask ourselves, how do we treat typhoid or even diagnose typhoid in places like in the heart of Africa, for example, when there's no electricity, when there is little technical help that is possible? Can you do that? Yeah? The moment you ask those kind of questions, the scientist begins to think quite differently. And now what happened is that our university are able to reduce the 5-day time needs for diagnosis of typhoid to just 15 minutes. And to reduce the cost, that cost maybe $100 US, to just about 10 US, by doing a dipstick sort of technology that you do for pregnancy tests or otherwise. Yeah? And now it is sold in 22 countries around the world, particularly in developing countries. Of course, the particular researcher do not make enough money, but we say she or he has sort of contributed to life-saving mechanisms or to life-saving projects, and therefore he or she should be rewarded accordingly. So these are questions of how we think about the problems and how we find the solutions. I don't know whether that answers your question, but I think there is solution to it, provided we are able to accept that there is not just one model of a good university, there are other models to follow as well. Thank you.
Muchísimas gracias, doctor Abdul. Damos la palabra al doctor Romero.
Solo un par de frases para comentar en esa línea una experiencia muy interesante, que es la de Brasil. Naturalmente, la evaluación depende de los órganos evaluadores, es decir, cómo se acredita en función de quién es el organismo que está proponiendo la evaluación, ¿no? Y en Brasil tenemos aquí ponentes y miembros del Congreso que son de Brasil. Hay entre los estándares, hay no solamente los estándares de tipo académico, científico, docentes, científicos, etcétera, sino en una gran proporción hay estándares referidos a cómo la universidad está interactuando con la sociedad. Y eso es válido. ¿Es cierto, profesor?
Bueno, voy a pedir el apoyo de mi colega Stella para decir que sí es verdad que la evaluación lleva en cuenta la responsabilidad social, pero vale 10% del conjunto evaluatorio, es decir, es muy poco. Lleven en cuenta eso, sí, es verdad, pero no que le conteste, mi querido amigo, pero es muy poco. Una universidad, por ejemplo, que tiene un compromiso, y me voy a referir para salir de mi casa a eso que se crea un poco en el noreste de Brasil, la UNILAB. Aquí está la prorectora, vicerrectora, va a ser, por cierto, naturalmente, un trabajo social muy importante, pero puede ser que la evaluación formal venga a tener un punto más bajo que una otra universidad que tiene 38 doctores, 45 doctores, 38 investigaciones o cosas de temas no puntuales para la sociedad. Eso puede ocurrir. ¿De acuerdo, mi colega?
Muchísimas gracias, doctora Alen Carmelo, por esta respuesta. No sé si hay alguna otra pregunta.
Sí, buenos días. Gretel Rivera, de la Universidad Estatal a Distancia de Costa Rica. Quisiera dirigirme al doctor Abdul y comentarle que estoy totalmente de acuerdo con su interpretación sobre capital humano. Pues si partimos que las personas son solo generadoras de producción material, realmente es triste pensar que el verdadero espíritu humano se elimina o se hace invisible. Mi pregunta es, ¿cómo desde las universidades podemos lograr crear esa conciencia del ser humano como un ser integral y vencer esa resistencia ante la valoración de la persona desde sus tres dimensiones, como persona, trabajadora y ciudadana?
I will try and again illustrate how we try and do it in my university. In my universities, we have taken even a more serious sort of deviation in the sense that we are just like a factory. We have got a KPI to fulfill. KPI, a key performance index or a key performance indicators. All of my staff, including me, I've got a KPI. The KPI will tell me whether I'm performing or not performing. And invariably, KPI talks just about what you can measure. What you cannot measure normally do not fall under KPI, because KPI is about something that is measurable. In the discussion that we had at our university, we introduced another terminology called KIP. KIP stands for Key Intangible Performance. And key intangible performance to us is as crucial, if not more crucial, than the KPI. And how do we illustrate this? For example, we talk about social commitment is one KIP that you need to fulfill. In other words, when you have done your research and you have fulfilled your KPI, the question we will ask you, how does this research of yours impact society? If you cannot answer that question, then your KIP is not fulfilled and your work is not complete. So there is this idea of trying to put in the intangibles inside rather than just the tangibles. And I think this is a very crucial way of, again, changing the mindset so that we do not only focus on something that we can produce, but things that we cannot produce, we are not very interested in. And sometimes things that we produce destroy other people. For example, again, in some of the research, Luis talked about genomics, for example. Yeah? Or nanotechnology, for example. Everybody talks about the good side of nanotechnology. Nobody talks about nanotoxicity. Nobody talks about nanopollution. You imagine when these particles that we don't see and you can't even detect pollutes the world, what's going to happen? So in other words, there is also this idea of you do not produce something that actually will destroy other people or your community or your environment. And this is again part of the KIP that we put in. So again, the discussion has to be enlarged. If we narrow our discussion on just KPI and about publication, high impact journals, and not about impact per se, then I think we're going to lose this whole idea of human being, and we begin to be very absorbed into this whole idea of human capital. And again, the university must make the change. The university must tell the government, the ministry, that as far as my university is concerned, we are not interested in just human capital, we are interested in human being. And human being is the ultimate goal for the university.
Muchísimas gracias, doctor, por esta interesante respuesta. Y damos por terminada esta primera mesa, donde se han planteado temas relevantes de compromiso social de la universidad en la formación del ser humano en espíritu y valores que generen en la sociedad nuevos horizontes y nuevas esperanzas. Muchísimas gracias.